Hello, welcome back to Statman Dave Clips. Today we're going to be taking a look at how Raphinha would fit into Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's Manchester United. I am a big fan of the Brazilian winger and I'd love to see him join United. Anyway, it's time to dive into the video. Of course, Mason Greenwood is key to United's future, but I think his future is playing through the middle, which opens up a slot for Manchester United on that right-hand side. We've spoke a lot about Jadon Sancho and his qualities and how he can massively upgrade United's attack, and he would be the first. If I'm doing the transfers this summer, he's over Haaland. Might shock you, but that's where I'm going. I'd go Sancho over Haaland. But Man United's team, when we're looking at what potentially go forward, I think Mason through the middle. But this right-hand side is definitely an area where United could improve. I like Dan James. I think he's a really good player for certain games. I would be using him in this Park Ji-sung style model. Use him for the big games, presses well, very, very quick, frightens people, but he isn't your go-to guy. And one player that I think is definitely ideal, FPL Foxy, is Raphinha from Leeds. Raphinha is a player that Man United probably should have looked at before. He had great stats in the Ligue NOS. He had great stats in Ligue 1, and now he's got great stats in the Premier League. I think he'd be a player that would really benefit, really help the system. And not only has he got link up with Bruno Fernandes and previous with Bruno Fernandes at Sporting, I remember an assist that I think Raphinha put to Bruno was a brilliant assist. But I do think there's a really good relationship there already, number one. Number two, natural winger. Can play him wide left, can play him wide right. Whichever side you play him on, he's going to do damage. And I think that's kind of a benefit of him, like Jadon Sancho. And I do agree that he is a little bit like Ronaldinho. He's got that explosive ability that you give him the ball, he'll do you either way, and there will be end product there. I think that's something that when you look at Raphinha and you look at his quality and what he can do, I just think he's superb in an attacking sense. He scored some unbelievable goals for Leeds this season, and it's when you look at that, you think, I like him. I really like him. I think he'd give a lot to United on that right-hand side and would be massively, massively cheaper than a Jadon Sancho. As much as I'd love United to get Jadon Sancho, Raphinha would be a good alternative. When we look at his stats over the Premier League this season, you're looking at the top, the 96th percentile versus attacking midfielders and wingers in Europe at 0.3. Great expected assist numbers there. He's in the 90th percentile in terms of shot creating actions. Again, the thing that we mentioned previously is explosive, will make something happen. Progressive, 93 percentile in terms of progression. But the things that really impressed me, we watched a lot of Leeds this week on our, we've got a video on the YouTube channel. Go and check out if you haven't already on the Statman Dave YouTube channel, the main channel. But the defensive side of Raphinha, very, very, very good. Incredibly intelligent when it comes to pressing. And we could see that in the stats. 96th percentile in terms of interceptions for his position. Decent tackles numbers, decent pressure numbers. 15 per 90 is good for his position. But in terms from a tactical level, what we're talking about is intelligence that he gives the Leeds team. So in terms of, Leeds, they press in a very aggressive way, in a sense of they'll basically look to squeeze you all over the pitch, the Superman to man. So let's just throw in, an opposition team and talk about that pressing quick time. Actually, let's get the 4 out there. So the interesting side with Leeds, they are very man to man. They're very all over the pitch in terms of how they press. But I think the thing that I like about Raphinha is his positioning. So, for example, the ball is on the left-hand side. Leeds will narrow. United's press needs to be better. I think there's things that could be done on their press and their counter press. But the big thing that Raphinha does that I like for Leeds is in Leeds' setup, the winger is the far side winger. So the ball's on this side of the pitch. The far side winger is responsible for 2 players. He's responsible for the fullback, but also responsible for the outside centre half. So basically what we'll see, let's move the ball to the centre back instead of the fullback. So what you'll see is the striker for Leeds. The striker for Leeds will split the centre halves. They'll then provide pressure, cutting off the pass behind them. So creating that kind of like filter where they're pressing from a certain angle that cuts the pitch. And then the whole team will jump and press in a very man-to-man orientated way on that side of the pitch. But if that ball gets switched, so if they, for example, we're in a slightly different tactical situation where Greenwood's a bit deeper and the switches and the ball's been played, what the outside winger will do is leave the man far and go and press the opposition centre-half and be super aggressive in there. And Raphinha's really good at that. Raphinha's also quite good at the angulation of it as well. Let's say that, he's coming from this type of position. Key thing is making that kind of angled run and then providing the pressure, in a sense. Probably not like, super like that, but, moving out and then coming inside. And very, very intelligent. And I really like him defensively and offensively. And if we look at the offensive stats again, really, really good. And there was a goal that he scored against West Brom, one of the best goals I've seen in the Premier League this season. I'm such a, I like certain types of goals. And the goal that he scored against Leeds was brilliant. So let's take you to that game, the 5-0. Raphinha was having an absolute field day that day. All over the pitch. But the goal was a beautiful third-man run. Basically made the third-man run. There was a combination between Stuart Dallas and the central midfielder. Then there was a through ball. Raphinha cut inside and banged it top corner. And that day against West Brom, I thought he was absolutely brilliant in terms of his passing, in terms of his attacking structure, and how he provided that kind of attacking thrust from Leeds United. And I would really take him at United. Absolutely. Looking at his overall stats for the season, let's dive into those. So in the Premier League, in 26 games, 6 goals, 6 assists. A player that I just really like. Key passes per game, 2.1, 10 big chances created. And we're talking about like translation from his previous season. So let's go to Liga last year. Let's move it to the right season. So Liga in 18-19. You could start to see a little bit of progress there. Shots per game, 2. Chances created game per 2. He's been directly involved in 4 shots per game. Really good numbers. But even before that, in the Premier La Liga for Sporting Lisbon, similar kind of shot numbers, key pass numbers. And they're the numbers that you look at in the background and you think this player is going to be something when we're looking at that. So I think that's something that you look at United and you think, bang, he could be absolutely perfect for them. But just a final little summation of that, be it, United's system and setup next season, whether it is the 4-2-3-1 that we've seen this year, or alternatively, Solskjaer changes it a bit. United maybe sign a new defensive midfielder or continue with Scott McTominay or Fred. Could see a 4-3-3. And I think that's where Raphinha could absolutely star. Raphinha is a classic inverted winger. Rashford can play that position as well, and it opens up the free channels, be it Paul Pogba as the free 8 or Donny van de Beek as a free 8. I think this is where United need to go. That you have that, you create these wide triangles between fullback, centre mid, winger, these triangles. And I think Raphinha could perfectly do that, hold the width on that right-hand side, similar to how Dan James does, but with a bit more quality. And I do think Raphinha would be a great signing for Manchester United. So thanks for watching Statman Dave clips today. Of course, if you are new, hit that subscribe button and like that goddamn video and get in below. Would you rather have Jadon, Sancho or Raphinha? See ya.